What I would like to start with is what, if anything, can we, the voters, learn from how a candidate handles a campaign to how he or she is going to be in the White House? Is there anything?
I like to think that uh, there are at least a couple of things that people can take away from watching me run this campaign. Number one, I'm a pretty good manager. We had to start this organization from scratch, competing against organizations that had been built 20 years ago. And I think it's fair to say that on most of the indicators, how we've raised money, how we've spent money, how we've built an organization, how we've staffed, that we've probably had the best managed campaign in either the Republican or Democratic field. And part of that is that I hire good people and trust them to make good decisions, but I hold them accountable. I think a second thing people can learn is that I don't believe in a lot of drama in my organizations, whether that's a campaign organization or hopefully if I'm running a White House. And so you haven't seen a lot of backbiting or a lot of stories about people going to the press off record to undermine others. Everybody's been working as a team. And I think that's really important because it means people are focused on getting the job done. And maybe the third thing that people can take away from this is that I have a pretty even temperament. I don't get too high when we're up and I don't get too low when we're down. And I think that that's an important quality for a president to have, because if you're having these wild mood swings, then it's going to be pretty hard to deal with all the things that are thrown at you as president.
Do you see the role of a president as a kind of CEO of the world's largest conglomerate, or you see it in some other mode?
Well, I think that you've got to be a good manager, but as I've said before, I'm not running for chief operating officer. I'm not running for chief of staff. I'm running to be president. And so those times where hopefully I've shown my ability to lead this country are those moments where I'm helping the country see itself in a new way. For example, the speech I gave on race in Philadelphia, where it captures people's sense of how we might resolve big problems or deal with big challenges. I think that's the most important role. You've got to be a good manager, or at least you've got to know enough to hire good managers, and that's something I think I've shown myself capable of doing. One other thing about the campaign that people might want to reflect on, we've really built a bottom-up organization. I mean, our strength has been that we raise our money in $25 and $50 donations from over 1 million donors, using the internet as a way to organize across the country. Our organizations have been built through volunteers, and they're constantly giving us messages and ideas, and that kind of faith in ordinary people and their ability to make a difference and have an impact on government is a principle that I think I want to continue when I'm in the White House.
You mentioned picking people, which is always important in a campaign and triply important once you get to the White House. How did you come to David Axelrod, and how does it work between you? Is David Axelrod the single most important staff member?
I think there are a core group of people that includes David Axelrod, my campaign manager, David Plouffe, my political director, my communications director. There are a number of people who, on a day-to-day basis, I'm consulting with. And most of them are people who, first of all, I trust, who I believe are not simply loyal to me, but more importantly, are in it for the right reasons. That they have the same rough vision of where the country should go as I do. I think that's very important. Second thing is competence. I just want people who are the best at what they do. The third is integrity. I want them to believe that the mission, the team, is more important than their ego or what they stand to get out of it. And the final thing is independence. I think everybody on my team knows that they can tell me when I'm wrong, and aren't afraid to let me know where I'm wrong.
As you view yourself as a candidate, not just now during the race for the nomination, but in the general election, what would you consider to be your major vulnerability?
Well, I think my major vulnerability, I don't think this is any secret, is the fact that I'm relatively new on the national scene. And so I think people will try to play up what Senator Clinton tried to play up, which is my relative youth, and they'll compare it to John McCain, and they'll say the guy's been there a lot longer. He's a lot more seasoned and grizzled, and that will be the argument that they make. And I think a second vulnerability, which comes with being new, is that I'm a 46-year-old African American named Barack Obama, and that's a big leap for people. That I am mindful of that fact, and so I have to, I think, spend enough time with the American public that they have a sense of who I am and where I come from, and it becomes more difficult to make me seem like this odd, anomalous figure. And when they find out that, my mom was from Kansas and I was raised on a diet of Midwestern food and Midwestern values, and that what I hope for America is what I think most of us hope for, a country that is better off for the next generation than it was for us, then I think we can overcome some of those disadvantages.
What about the criticism? And it takes the form of a question, even from some people who support you. Say, listen, I like Barack Obama, I like what he stands for, but he's never run anything anywhere close to as big as the executive branch of the United States government. He hasn't been a businessman.
Well, the truth is, none of the candidates who were remaining have. Right, we have 3 senators, none of whom have held an executive position. And so this campaign is probably as good of a proxy in terms of management skills as anything else that's going to be out there. And I think it's fair to say that we compare pretty favorably to either John McCain's campaign or Hillary Clinton's campaign. Everything from paying bills to a consistency of staff, and outcomes, performance. I think we've done a very good job.
You pray?
Pray every night, absolutely. And my prayer, beyond having my family cared for and protected, is that I'm doing His will, that I'm taking my ego out of it, which is very hard to do when you're in national politics. I mean, we're all driven by ego to some degree, otherwise we wouldn't be here. But I think that the longer I'm in this, the more I think that if you're going to be effective, you have to really try to take yourself out of it as much as possible, and stay clear about what the broader goals are, which is a country that hopefully is more just and more equal and more prosperous and more compassionate in a world that is the same.
You must sometimes feel, to use a Texas expression, like you've been rode hard and put to bed wet.
Yeah, I haven't heard it put that way, but there's no doubt that sometimes this is exhausting. But every time I start feeling sorry for myself, I'm reminded of the troops who are on 15-month rotations in Baghdad. What I'm going through is nothing compared to what they're going through, and they're serving at the direction of the commander-in-chief. So I got no room for complaint.
More than any other thing, what rubs you in terms of a lie told about you or a misstatement about something you've done? What one thing more than any other concerns you?
Well, there were these emails that were being sent out suggesting that I was a Muslim and that I was sort of unpatriotic, which we have tried to dispel. It was an insult both to me a Christian, but also an insult to the Muslim community because it tried to play on those fears. What really rubs me the wrong way ends up being this suggestion somehow that because I haven't worn a flag pin in the past, that somehow I don't love this country as much as those who do. Because I wouldn't be doing this unless I love this country. I owe everything I am to this country. And one of the tasks, I think, in the general election is going to be to have a healthy debate about what love of country means. And that's a debate I welcome.